I've been wearing the Garmin Vivoactive 6 for a month, and for $300, it's got way better battery life and more sports features than the Apple Watch SE and the Galaxy Watch. But is it going to be the right choice for you? There are a couple of catches. Now, unlike those two watches that I just name-checked, Garmin's watch works across Android and iOS. That 1.2-inch round AMOLED screen is just lovely to look at, but it only comes in a single 42mm size. My wrist is 152mm for reference, so hopefully you can get an idea of what it might look and feel like on you. This feels a lot nicer to wear than the Vivoactive 5. This band in particular feels less plasticky, and overall it's got a slimmer profile on your wrist. If you're familiar with previous Garmin's, this watch also has two buttons on the side, but there is a new user interface, some graphics, and an improved navigation system. Now, as someone who's tested Garmin watches for years, I can safely say this is the nicest and easiest to use Garmin user interface yet. And there are multiple font sizes as well, which is nice because the previous generation only had two to choose from. Swipe down from the main watch face to get to your notifications. Swipe up to your daily metrics like heart rate, the body battery, and how well you slept. Swipe right brings you to the main settings and the workout pages. You can also long press on that top button to bring up quick settings. This watch has an always-on display, but it is quite dim, and depending on the watch face you choose, it might be really hard to see. The glow sticks face, which is one of the new ones on the Vivoactive 6, is so hard to see even indoors that half the time it gets so frustrated that I can't read this watch that I end up waking up the watch face anyway, which kind of defeats the purpose of an always-on. But like other Garmin watches, you're really looking at the Vivoactive 6 because you want a plethora of health and fitness tracking with actionable insights. This watch is no slouch on that front, but rather than going through every single thing you can do on Garmin watches, I just want to focus on the new stuff specifically on this model and tell you if it's been helpful or not over the past month. First, when it comes to sleep, there is a feature called Smart Wake Alarm. So when you go into the alarms in the clock section, you'll see that you can now toggle on this option to Smart Wake, which should lightly vibrate within a 30-minute window of when you're supposed to wake up to wake you up during the lightest stage of sleep. Sounds great in theory, except I found that it never actually wakes me up in that 30-minute window, even though I've regularly found that I was generally waking up just a little bit before that alarm was scheduled to go off, but nothing buzzed on my wrist until the alarm was scheduled to go off. And also when it did buzz, it was quite aggressive. It was definitely not a gentle vibration to lull me awake. So hopefully this will get a bit of a tweak in a future firmware update, because right now I just use a regular alarm. The Vivoactive 6 has some daily suggested walking workouts. Now that is new to this watch. You'll be able to find them by going to start a walking workout, and it should show up as a suggestion here on the workout screen. I really like these, and they've been quite effective because I'm more inclined to listen to a recommendation for a daily walk to mix things up, because I feel like when I do go out on a walk, I kind of just walk rather than a bike ride or a run where I'm either training to hit a specific goal or I am doing something like intervals. This watch also now comes with PacePro running metrics. This is borrowed from more expensive Garmin watches, and it kind of acts like a personal running coach on your wrist. You'll get grade adjusted guidance so you won't blow yourself up too early or fall behind. You will need to set this up ahead of time in the app and then go into the training and planning section, then PacePro, and enter in your goal, all the course details. There are some really nice daily insights on this watch. If you have an easy or a stressful day, the watch will notify you accordingly and give you some suggestions. Now, the heart rate sensor isn't the newest one that Garmin makes, but for the price, I'm not that frustrated because it actually still is pretty accurate in my testing for the main workout types that I've done. Now, let's get into all the other non-health and fitness features. This watch can run some third-party apps, but to access them and to load them on the watch, you'll need to download another app called Connect IQ. Yes, this is separate from the main Connect app that you use to communicate with the watch. This is standard across Garmin. I just wish that it could be consolidated into one app, because for new users it's confusing. You can respond to messages on Android only using the built-in keyboard, but on iPhone you'll just see the notifications come through and be able to dismiss them. Notifications do come through really quickly. There's been no lag on iOS or Android in my month of testing. It's got a range of safety tools on board, including Garmin's Live Track. Spotify, Amazon, and Deezer are available for music playback, and the watch now has 8 GB of storage, which is double the previous watch, so that means more room for onboard music storage and for apps themselves. And there's also Garmin Pay for contactless payments. Now, battery life is fantastic, especially if you're comparing it with an Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch in the same price range. The official Garmin rating is up to 11 days, but that's only really achievable if you use it in a reduced capacity, kind of like a notifications machine, rather than doing any GPS workouts or resource intensive stuff. In my testing, I've been able to get an average of 4 to 4.5 days with the always on display active, and some lighter use, it drops to around 3 days if you use more heavy GPS workouts thrown in. So far, so good? Yeah, except for things that it doesn't do compared to other watches that might be deal breakers for you. Number one, there's no speaker or microphone on board, so that means no calls on your wrist. Like seriously, this can't be that expensive to put in a $300 watch, can it? Number two, no ECG app. Number three, no altimeter. And number four, not as sturdy in build quality as the Apple Watch or the Galaxy Watch in the same price range. And Garmin recently introduced a bit of a controversial subscription service called Connect Plus. Now, you don't need to subscribe to this at all, but there are a few safety tools on top of what's on board already and training tools that you might want access to. And it is frustrating to have these locked behind a paywall when the previous selling points of Garmin watches was that there was no paywall. Nothing was locked behind anything. So I'm really hoping in the future it's not pay to play for some really cool features that might be coming out. Okay, to sum this all up, Garmin definitely needed a watch in the lower end of the range to compete with the entry-level Apple Watch and the Galaxy Watch. And I really like the Vivoactive 6, just like I've liked all the other Vivoactive watches before it. But after a month of using this, it really feels like a lot of these features could have just been delivered as software updates to the Vivoactive 5, given that there aren't any huge changes in the hardware here. Now, I would say go for the Vivoactive 6 if you're wanting in-depth coaching tools and fitness insights from your watch that can actually help you. Plus, great battery life. But if you need true smartwatch functionality, a speaker and microphone on board, and extensive third-party app support, I would go for an Apple Watch SE, a Galaxy Watch, or a Pixel Watch instead. Thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate your support on my journey as a solo content creator. So if you did find this review useful, I would love if you would leave me a comment, drop the video a like, and of course subscribe if you're not already. And if you have extra questions about the watch that I didn't answer, drop them in the comments because I always want to help you out. See you later.